It's on a trailer and it's not broken. Did my first drift event yesterday in 7 years. Did a handful of events over the years in a S13 and an E36. And once I sold all them, I never drifted again. So built this with the kind of the intention to get back out there every once in a while and have some fun. And we did. So went through 4 sets of rear tires. I did start to wear the outer edge of my front tire, but went through 4 sets back here. The only issue really is I'm using a fuse tap for the Holley, and it wouldn't pop out, but it would like lose connection. So I need to address that. And then I had one other minor issue first thing in the morning, because Friday night I dropped my car off, left truck and trailer, and got teched in and everything. So that way when I got there Saturday, we could just go to the driver's meeting and be good to go. So I started up, sitting there in idle, warming up, and all of a sudden I look down and there's red fluid all over the ground. So this is my trackside fix. These power steering cooler lines, one goes to the reservoir, the other one goes to the rack. So it goes pump into rack, rack into cooler, cooler into reservoir, reservoir back into pump. Well, this has happened before where this little lower clip had popped off, and it actually happened while I was ripping on it, and then saw smoke go everywhere, and turns out just that little clip popped off. Well, I did a zip tie around it to kind of keep the clip more forward, but it did not work for some reason. I don't know if it's because it was so cold. I mean, it was 24 degrees at Summit on Saturday. So we got it together, did the driver's meeting, and came back, and I put that clamp around it and then put a zip tie around the frame holding everything together. But yeah, it was really fun. Feel like I did like 30 or 40 runs. I've got video footage of like 20 or 25 of them. Got to take my wife for a ride, which is cool. Both my buddies there that were helping me got to go for ride-alongs, and we just had a grand old time. And it didn't fail, which is crazy considering the engine that's currently in it is a block of unknown origin with a different crank of unknown origin, Amazon crank bearings, Amazon rod bearings, factory cam bearings, and I put it all together in less than 24 hours. So if you don't know the story, I put the car together, I drove it down the street, I lost oil pressure immediately. Turns out I had 2 injectors stick wide open and filled the engine full of fuel, because when I drained the oil, there was almost 10 or 11 quarts of fluid. So that one wiped 2 main bearings on the crank, the front and the rear, which is crazy. And then, so I pulled it out, put a short block in, swapped my heads, and then the O-ring on the oil pump was wrong. Partially my fault, but I was going off what Melling said to use for the color, but whatever. So that spun another main bearing. It didn't spin in the crank or the block, but it spun the crank. So I pulled that crank out. I literally pulled the engine out. This happened on a Wednesday at lunchtime. I get back to work. I get home. I tear it out. I take the engine out. I get it on a stand. I flip the engine over. I pulled the push rods and rockers. I undid all of the rods, all of the main bearings, slid the crank out, cleaned everything as much as I could. I went through like 10 cans of brake clean. And then I put the new crank in. I did the little plastic gauge to check it. Everything was in spec. Put it all together. Had it back running again the next day at 5 p.m. So it was like 24 hours or so, a little bit more. But got it back together, and then my oil pressure would fluctuate. So I'd see like 20 psi and then 30 psi, and then it would come down and hit like 15, 16, then it would fluctuate. So I put a manual gauge on it, and then I started to change the oil religiously. I started with 10W30 in it, changed that out, did another 10W30, changed that out, did a 5W30, changed that out, finally landed on 20W50, and I got 43 psi at cold or hot idle, and it peaks at like 75, 80, which I have the Mellings high pressure standard volume, so that's normal. But it's crazy that nothing with the engine failed, at least yet. I haven't pulled it off the trailer, but yeah, it ran great. I didn't see less than 43 psi at all the whole day. And then I had all those weird water pump issues a couple weeks ago. Coolant temp didn't go above 201, which is awesome. I was expecting to see like at least 215, 220, because I was hot lapping Potomac pretty quick. I mean, we'd do a run, get back in line, 1 or 2 cars would go, and we're on it again. But yeah, didn't get hot. Cool, oil pressure stayed good. Other than that weird little power steering clip, which is going to be upgraded here in the future, I'm going to be doing some sort of aftermarket cooler, whether I just I cut down the stock lines and run them to the cooler, which wouldn't be bad because I wouldn't have to change anything else, just buy a cheap cooler. I'm just not too sure where I'm going to be able to put it is the problem. So I've got this other fan up here. I might be able to put the cooler over to the side. Not the stock cooler can't be doing much anyways, so whatever it ends up being is just going to be an improvement, because the stock cooler is just a straight loop back and forth. It's not curled or anything. So that's on the list. And then rerouting my Holley power, because it would just randomly cut out like mid-slide or something, and then I just would like tap the fuse tap and it would be good. So that was really annoying. It happened probably 3 times. As soon as it happened, I knew what had happened, because the Holley screen was blank and it just cranked, no fire. So I need to address that in the power steering, and I need some more tires. I ran a set of Mazda wheels, which I don't know if I'll run again. I had a 205/50 on them. I don't think they're wide enough. They're only like a 7-inch rim. I also ran some Lexus wheels, which I was able to fit a 225. I could probably fit a 235, which I have 4 of, so I might try. And then my bronze wheels are running a 215 in the rear. But overall, the car felt great. No clunks, no bangs, nothing came apart. The engine stayed together. The cooling system stayed together. Other than that minor little stupid power steering thing, but hey, I'm calling it a win. I almost wish I would have stayed for today and did the rest of the event, but I've been crazy tired today and crazy migraine and trying to clean stuff up. Got the Suburban all cleaned out, the grill stuff, all that, cooler. So yeah, thanks for watching. We made it for our first drift event with this car. First event in 7 years. So here's to many more next year, hopefully. See ya.